Welcome back to the Ed Show. The Obama campaign has a simple take on the Bain Capital controversy. The Republicans attacking Mitt Romney are spot on. Romney killed jobs. Obama campaign strategist Stephanie Cutter released a lengthy, scathing memo today about Mitt Romney's time at Bain. Here are some of the highlights. Romney closed over 1,000 plants, stores, and offices and cut employee wages, benefits, and pension. He laid off American workers and outsourced their jobs to other countries. Free enterprise isn't running for president. Mitt Romney is. Mitt Romney and his friends made money hand over fist while working families lost their grip on the middle-class lifestyle they earned. Between now and November, the American people will decide whether to respond to the crisis by electing a corporate raider who profited from and promises to restore the conditions that caused it. Pretty strong stuff. Let's bring in Jonathan Alter, MSNBC political analyst and columnist for Bloomberg View. I like it. I mean, it's campaign on now.
Yeah.
And it's kind of interesting, Jonathan, because this week I think Newt Gingrich has filed off a few edges in using some different terminology and not quite as aggressive, although his ads are. But on the stump, it's a little different. What do you make of the Obama team jumping in this?
Well, they expected to do this later, but the Republicans gave them an opening to pile on now and to draw on that blank slate. Look, in politics, a lot of winning elections is about drawing on that blank slate before the other guy. Most people don't know really anything about Mitt Romney. They're in some ways just being introduced to him. Most people are not watching all these cable shows, paying attention to the Iowa caucuses. So if they can essentially characterize him in a certain way and go right after what is his strength. Remember, this is what Romney brought up, that he was the job creator. And the problem with it as an argument for Romney is it's not true. As you said before, the aim of Bain Capital was to create wealth, not to create jobs. And they need to make sure that even though people don't understand the complexities of this kind of
that's what
stuff,
their DNA was.
They need to get to the fundamentals.
Well, it always seems that the conservatives do a great job of messaging. You know, when they went after John Kerry, Massachusetts liberal, two-word culture, tax cuts, private accounts, that kind of stuff. Here comes the Obama team, and I love it. Corporate raider. I mean, they're putting that label on him. Is it going to be effective?
Well, I think it will be, because politics at the most elemental level is about stigmatizing the other guy. They've been very bad at that kind of thing in the last several elections. Republicans are much better at playing pin the tail on the donkey than Democrats are at this kind of cut and thrust. And it's very important that moving forward, the Democrats bring up their game, and this is a sign that they might be able to do so.
Newt Gingrich said this today about his own super PAC.
I'm calling on the super PAC. I cannot coordinate with them. I cannot communicate directly, but I can speak out as a citizen talking to you. I'm calling on them to either edit out every single mistake or to pull the entire film, but to not run the film if it has errors in it, because I think we ought to have somebody who wants to be president ought to have the courage to stand up for the truth and ought to be prepared to say if something is wrong.
Interesting move by Gingrich, because we had the producer of that 28-minute film on here the other night. It's all vetted. It's all correct. And now he's saying, well, if it's wrong, pull it out. What do you make of that strategy?
Well, that's a sign of the blowback in the Republican Party. He's taking a lot of incoming for having done this, because he's doing the work of the Democrats, and Republicans are furious about it. But in the process, what's happening that's great is the American public is beginning to get an education in what you've called vulture capitalism. Romney was just about to get away with the idea that, he was like, Thomas Edison or Steve Jobs, that, he was creating all these jobs, and instead what he was doing was sucking capital out of the workplace, transferring wealth from workers to bankers. Essentially, all that he is a banker. Lending money is not the same thing as creating jobs by inventing a new product.
What's the toll? What's the toll he could pay in the long run on this if this story sticks?
Well, I think that this could, doom him in the fall, or at least if the unemployment rate goes back up again, none of this will save Barack Obama. But in a close race, which it looks like it will still be, this is extremely important in getting Obama over the finish line, that Romney is stigmatized as
Romney,
a guy who's a poster boy for Wall Street raiders.
You think he's answered to the attacks well?
No,
I mean, that ad that's come out, Romney is struggling with this.
He is struggling. Now, there's an argument that this inoculates him, you know, that it gives him a chance, kind of spring training. He gets to learn how to deal with this. That's a rationalization by Republicans who are deeply worried that they're going to have a wounded candidate in the fall.
All right. MSNBC political analyst Jonathan Alter, always a pleasure. Great to have you with us.